Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Media. I am Dr. Nik Nikam. I've been a cardiologist for more than 40 years here in the Houston area, and this is your heart health lecture series. The focus of this presentation is seven highly effective heart healthy lifestyles. So we're going to look at seven heart healthy lifestyles, and it is based on the heart healthy lifestyle book which I have written. That is of great value to you to practice these heart healthy lifestyles. So let us begin with the feature presentation. The first thing I would like to do is, if you are more than 35 years old, you need to get a complete medical checkup from your primary doctor. The goal of this medical checkup is to see where you are today, what changes you need to adapt, and where you want to be when you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe 100. Unless you plan your destination, you have no way to get to your destination. And this is what is all about, planning your life journey. First of all, let's talk about when you get a medical checkup, your cholesterol level, namely the LDL, should be less than 100 milligram percent. And if you have risk factors like hypertension, diabetes, and all these things, the LDL should be less than 70 milligram percent, which can easily be done with a blood test. The second important parameter we need to look at is your blood pressure. Blood pressure is the number 2 risk factor for heart disease after cholesterol, which is number 1 risk factor for heart disease. Your blood pressure should be less than 140 over 80 millimeters of mercury. More often than not, a lot of people have blood pressure much higher than that, and we're going to address how to take care of that. The next thing is your blood sugar level. You want to make sure you don't have diabetes. Diabetes is the number 3 risk factor for heart disease. I should say it's number 2 risk factor after cholesterol. Those people who have diabetes are already thought to be equivalent to patients having coronary artery disease. So diabetes is not a very good condition to have, but a lot of this can be prevented at age 35 by following these 7 lifestyle modifications, which I'm going to be stressing time and again. Next thing is, you want to make sure your kidney function is normal, especially if you have borderline blood pressure or diabetes, or if you have a family history of vascular problems, then your kidney function is an important parameter to be looked into. And finally, the most troubling point is the weight. As we know, more than 40 to 50% of the Americans are overweight. Hopefully, you're not in that category. For example, if you're 5 feet 10 inches, your weight should be less than 165 pounds. It will be hard pressed if we can find one person out of 10 who is walking around in the street who weighs 165 pounds, who is 5 feet 10 inches tall. Or for example, a lady who is 5 feet 3 inch average height, their weight should be less than 135 pounds. Why am I talking about all these things? Because these are all the building blocks of a heart healthy lifestyle. Because you cannot build a building with just one brick. You cannot build a building with just 1 month period. This is a lifelong modification of our lifestyle. We live through this one, and we enjoy the fruits of this if we follow them appropriately. So let us continue. How are we going to accomplish some of these major objectives after having received the first medical evaluation? Number one, the number two factor is, let's go to the source. The source of majority of the problems which I talked about: cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight, they all start here with our diet. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, diet is the major culprit of all age related diseases. I'm going to give you a very simplified formula. All these things are explained in explicit detail in my book, Heart Healthy Lifestyle. It's up to you if you want to look at the book and see how it can help you, but I'm giving you some of the highlights of the essence of what is in that book. Number one, you need to keep your carbohydrate intake to less than 100 grams per day. Most adults are eating now anywhere from 400 to 800 grams per day. So we are eating 4 times more than what our body actually needs. Actually, our body does not need carbohydrates at all at age 35 and beyond, because the body can produce glucose from other sources such as fat, or use fat as energy. The main purpose of the carbohydrates is to provide new glycogen, which is the immediate fuel for like jogging muscles, or if you get a sudden increase in heart rate, that's when glucose is used. But on a steady basis, heart uses fatty acids. And so does your brain use fatty acids and also glucose. But the important thing is you want to make sure that you keep your sugar level low, because it's the sugar that leads to high cholesterol, and it leads to obesity and a whole host of problems that go along with that. Protein intake. Well, then people say, well, I'm just going to replace my carbohydrates with proteins. Hold on. Restrict your protein intake to 8 ounces per day. Why do we need to restrict the protein? Because protein has a lot of nitrogen. And if you take like 200 or like 2 pounds of meat, you're going to put extra strain of that nitrogen on the kidneys, and eventually kidneys are going to fail when you overload your system with 2 to 3 grams per kg of protein. So keep your protein intake to 8 ounces. If you buy a pound of meat, that should be good for 2 people, or it should be good for 2 days for 1 person. Fat intake 50 grams. And generally, I would say it should be in the form of a liquid form. Especially, I use olive oil, and anything like that would be a better source, which has more polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fatty acids. Alcohol, 1 drink per day. On the other hand, water, 100 ounces or more per day. You see the difference? Alcohol, 1 ounce. Water, 100 times more than. Why do we need water? We need water for hydration. We need water for metabolism. We need to be able to flush our system with water. And water helps us to stay healthy. And water, as I said, eliminates the need for other types of drinks like soda. I mean, soda is probably the worst thing you can have, which has 9 teaspoons of pure sugar in each 12-ounce can. So we're not even talking about that if you're looking at heart healthy lifestyle for the rest of your life. Okay, number 3 is exercise. A whole lot of things are sold and promoted in the market, but ladies and gentlemen, an exercise is an exercise. The purpose of the exercise is to keep your muscles in tone, to improve your muscle strength, to improve your exercise capacity, to reduce the strain on the heart muscle in terms of responding to the stress. So exercise is something that everyone should be able to adapt at all age groups. And my approach is, if you can do anywhere from 8 to 10,000 steps from the morning till midnight, in any form, I don't care. My favorite approach is you go to the grocery store. You have to go there anyway, and just find an excuse. Oh, I forgot to bring the sugar. So first of all, you don't need sugar, all right? Get a sugar supplement. There you can easily cut 10 grams of carbohydrates right there. Anyway, You forgot to get the vegetables. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. You want to go to the grocery store, spend an hour, make a circle. It's air conditioned, it's well controlled, you're paying taxes, so you might as well use and get your steps. Park your car at the end of the driveway, close to the freeway, and then walk. And you get your almost 5,000 steps just going to the grocery store. At workplace, park your car at the end of the parking lot and walk. And at lunchtime, walk. And for coffee break, walk. By the end of the day, you want to make sure you have 8 to 10,000 steps. That's the exercise you need. And when you get home, you can do some stretching exercises that involves your upper arms, because you want to keep all your major joints flexible, moving, so that you have some strength. You can use 5 to 10 pounds of weight to strengthen your muscles, because as we get older, we lose muscle mass. So you need to strengthen your muscles as you get older. But the bottom line is, you don't need fancy treadmill equipment or elliptical equipment and spend $10,000, which after 3 months will be decorating your garage for the next 10 years with a constant battle going on between you and your spouse. Oh gosh, you don't need that one. Save that money for the kids' college, for kids' education, anything you can think of. Number 5, there should be number 5, I don't know where it is. Yeah, number 4, weight. Yeah, this is a very sensitive topic. Nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody is worried about it, and they are always thinking about, starting tomorrow, I am going to get on this damn weight issue. I'm going to start it. And that tomorrow has never come in the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the time to do it today, now, as you're watching this presentation. If you are 5 feet 10 inches, you stay in the mid-range. For a female, it is 100 and if you're 5'10", you want the weight to be 163 or maybe 165. That should be it. If your belt size at 165 is 32, never ever upsize your belt. That is the promise you're going to make if you want to stay heart healthy for the rest of your life. Because your weight is a major problem, because weight leads, it is started by a wrong diet, and it is promoted by a wrong diet, and it leads to other complications like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high sugar, arthritis, and falls, and a whole fatty liver, a whole host of complications which you will have a very hard time reversing. And if you are a female and your weight is 5'3", and your weight should be 135, or if you are 5'4", 138 pounds. So find your target. Write down all these pointers on a yellow notepad and stick that to your refrigerator. I say, these are my guidelines. You do that in your profession. You have a project manager. I say, you put down your project guidelines, you put down your project milestones, and you put down your project visions, endpoint, and you follow that. And your life is no different. Actually, your life should be the first and the most important project of your entire career. Use that engineering degree, use their spreadsheet knowledge, all these things, and engineer your life first. Do your life project first before you do anything else for money, because you're doing it to save your life. Yes, indeed, we all need work-life balance. We think about it, we say we're going to do it. Yes, after this exam is over, I'm going to spend more time, and after I get this promotion, I'm going to spend more time, and after I make $500,000, I'm just going to slow down and spend the rest of the time. Hey buddy, by the time you make $500,000, your teenage kids have already grown up and left the cuckoo's nest. They are never going to come back, and they don't even remember how you looked when they were 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years old. So it doesn't make a damn difference when you try to change your lifestyle when you're 50s, 60s, or 70s. That's too late. The train has left the station. The time to do is in the first 20 years of your children. The more time you spend with your children in their first 18 years while they are under your wings, that's the only thing they're going to remember. They don't remember how many degrees you got, how many awards you got, what position you have in your job, or how much money you have in your savings accounts. All of those things are oblivious to your children, except they didn't see their daddy when their kid's birthday was happening. When mom was struggling for the birthday, the daddy was nowhere. Do you want that one? I don't think so. Next, financial health, life insurance, savings. These are all very important aspects of a healthy lifestyle. Whether it's heart, whether it's diabetes, or any other medical condition, we need to have some financial security. Financial security for us while we are alive, in case something happens to you as the breadwinner, your spouse and children should not be in the street. They should be able to maintain their lifestyle, even though it's never going to be like it was before, but at least they can live with dignity. See what I mean? They can live with dignity. The children can get the education that you desired and aimed for, so that they will be able to make progress despite you, because of your vision, your forward thinking, and your commitment to the family. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we are all stressed. Let's face it. We live in a society which demands more than we can really give. We live in a society that is too critical, and we live in a society that is just too competitive, and sometimes in the wrong direction. Doesn't matter, whatever may be the trigger. It could be internal family matters, like a very sick child in the family, which is draining the entire family, or a health issue with a family member. All these things add stress. Stress is an integral part of human life, and it is going to exaggerate from time to time. We just have to learn to swim with the shark, that is the stress, and still come alive at the other end of the shore. That's when my life was going through a turbulent period. I said, I can't handle this. So I started looking for answers. And that's when I wrote this stress-free lifestyle book. Take a look at it. It has all the answers you need to deal with everyday stress. When we do all the other 6 things, we can minimize our stress level. Most importantly, we need to minimize our response to a given stress. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "What is happening before you pales in significance compared to what is happening inside you." That is, when you are facing a stress, the stress that you are facing is minuscule compared to how your body is trying to respond to that stress. If you are strong enough, if you know how to handle the stress becomes a smaller element. Whereas if you let the stress usurp your mind, your body, and your physical